Today's part of the renovation, we will be tackling the bathroom floor. This wall. I wasn't initially going to do this bit, but when I lifted up the floor coverings, it was absolutely knackered. It was rotten, saturated in certain areas. So what I've done is I bought some new 18mm tongue and groove boards, which I'll be replacing directly with the old boards. The old one is also 18mm as well, so it's just a direct fit, thankfully. I've laid one of the boards down so I could get an idea of where to sit it on the new joists, on the original joist. But as you can see here, around the pipework, this is where the hand basin was, just absolutely saturated. It was rotten. Where the toilet is, it's just bowing. So it's just, yeah, it was, when I actually removed it, you could literally just push it with your finger and that was just getting rid of it. I'll show you the old flooring where you can see, yeah, absolutely saturated. It was completely knackered. There's mold growing, and it was just literally breaking away in the hand. So I think it's best just get rid of that and stick some new ones down. We may as well do the job properly. So I have, as you can see, I've already started taking out a massive section, but what I'm doing at the minute is just currently denailing the floor, just to make it easier to get the floor out. So sorry, my multi-tools, my multi-skills are not very good at recording and denailing, but luckily it looks really good condition underneath the floor, which is great. So there's not much to do down there. You can see sort of the electrics where the electrician has installed the new light fittings, which is great. So yeah, just going to denail this floor. Once I've done that, then we can continue on with the boarding up as well. So quite straightforward, just up in out with the old and in with the new. Right, okay, so an update with the floor. So the floor is now squared out, ready to fit the new boards, or at least fit two of them. I've got to finish off a small corner in a second, but what I'm currently doing now is just cleaning up the ceiling section. So it's getting all the debris out of that, and then I'm currently now putting some rock wool insulation in and soundproofing, just to help dampen the sound that travels through. Sort of anywhere where I stripped out a wall, basically I'm trying to just insulate it, just give it a bit more sound protection. Really what I'd like to do is actually do that wall, which is the adjoining wall to our neighbours, but that's gonna have to be another time, another day. But at the minute what I'm doing is I'm using 50mm rock wool, which I've doubled over. So I've actually put a thick layer on the bottom and then a slightly thinner layer on top. So I've just flipped it over and then I've just put a little cut down the side to help it flex around. But what I've done is I've pushed it as far to the left as possible, and then what I'll do is I'll push it as far to the right as possible as well when I fill it out, just to make sure that I get as much coverage as possible, just to quieten out the area. So once I finish just cleaning up the debris, which I've pretty much done, I'll fill these two sections. So I've got another bit here which is quite a thin, as you can see, quite a thin layer, so sort of half the finger width, which is about, I think it says 50mm. Again, so that just gets doubled over, each one into there, push it out that way and then put another one in, push it out that way and put another one in, and then I can lay the boards. I've had to cut about 3 centimeters off just to have it fit in. Now here it fits on the joist exactly. Luckily the joists actually double over, which is great, and then it just slots into the original tongue and groove as well. I've got a little bit of repair work to do, but it's fine because I'll be fitting a no more ply, 6mm no more ply boards on top in order to install the tiles. So I'm not too fussed about that. I know that the floor will be strong enough and supported, even though there's a small section missing out there. The joist does double up underneath there as well, so I'm happy with that. I've had a look through the little gaps, so that's fine. So yeah, I'll just finish off and I will see you in a sec. So, as you can see, I've laid the first panel and screwed that in. Decided to go for screws and countersink them as opposed to nails. My understanding is that nails after a while do start to squeak, which kind of makes sense, so I've decided to screw them in. I've laid the other board in place ready to cut. As you can see, it's pitch black outside, so I'm going to wait until tomorrow to cut that down and get that fitted. Right, so we've managed to fit the last board in, so now I can screw the whole subfloor in, and then we've got our cement boards, 6mm cement boards to go on top, which we can tile straight onto. So what I'm going to do first of all is just screw these tongue and groove 18mm tongue and groove boards in. So we've got the final one in. It's not the neatest job, but as I said, we do have a floor to go on top of it anyway. And we want as much access as possible to this last board here anyway, given that we've got plumbing work there. So we'll get that screwed in and then we can start plumbing the bath in. Now the floor unfortunately is quite uneven. There is a high spot on one of the joists, and it's exactly where the toilet needs to sit. So at the minute I'm laying a no more ply 6mm cement board. And unfortunately this one is where the high spot is. So as you can see, there's quite a lot of flex in the board. So let me just refocus that. There's quite a lot of flex in the board. So the high spot is right here. The whole floor everywhere else though is pretty level and even. So what my plan is to cut that cement board where you can see the timber. And that is where the high-rise section stops. Lay that bit there and put a self-leveling compound around this section to even out the remaining areas, and hopefully that should lay everything flat ready for the tiles. As you know, the WC is going to be going there, so what we plan on doing is actually laying all the floor tiles even on that area there, and then putting the WC on top. So we want a nice even surface so we don't get any cracked tiles. So hopefully this works. I've not seen or heard anyone else do use this method, so if you have an alternative method I would like to know, but by the time you tell me I probably would have completed this anyway. So hopefully it works. These boards are completely flat. The using my leveler shows that this is all good, and this is obviously going to be the main area of traffic and walk-in, so we should be perfectly fine there. And then I'm going to butt it right up to the bath and then self-level that. Unfortunately I can only get a 20kg bag of self-level, and I probably only need maybe about half a kilogram of self-leveling compound, but hey, is what it is. So yeah, join me in a sec and hopefully we should have this all chased out there and start self-leveling. So the way I've cut the boards, because I've had to do the same around that bit of trim there, but literally get your line, score it, and then what I've been doing is just putting a bit of timber underneath and just stepping on it, and that gives you a nice clean cut, minimal dust. You don't really want to use saws or anything like that because that really creates a lot of dust. This is a nice clean way of doing it, but yeah, gives you a nice clean line as you can see straight along. So we'll get this bit laid and on to the next. Happy with that. As I said, the toilet's going to be there, so It's not like anyone's going to be stepping there as such. Just needs to be level for the toilet to be fitted. So that's all good. So I think what we'll do now is we'll get these small gaps here filled. Make sure that there's no gaps around. So when we do apply our self-leveling compound, it doesn't drip down, and that it just stays around this area. And then I think we'll be pretty good to go and ready to lay our floor tiles and then our WC on top. Hi guys, just to quickly touch on this video, so from this point out there is no further works carried out. I didn't actually complete the self-leveling compound, and the reason for that is when the tiler arrived, he said we don't need to apply a self-leveling compound. He can pack it out with the adhesive, which is perfectly suitable. Given the size of the gap, we were only talking about a 6mm to about a centimetre rise in total, so he was able to completely pack that out and level the floor. So this video will end here. I do hope that you like the video. If you do, please like and subscribe, drop a comment, and also hit the bell icon to get notified of the uploads. Moving on, the next video from here will be the plumbing that we did for the bathroom, and then we'll be hopefully getting outdoors as it starts to brighten up and doing some work out there. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. This wall